Hi everybody, Old Man Comic Book Reviews. We're doing it upstairs because there's this many and my camera person can't make it down the stairs because she's dying. She's old and weak. She's neither of those things. So we're going to start off with DC, third issue of Batgirls. With our, oh yeah, they have the tiny print. Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad are the story. George Corona is the art. Boy, there's a lot of people on this thing. Apparently there's a lot of editors. Alright. Anyways, we're up to issue 3, and somebody has gotten his hands on some Scarecrow fear gas and using it on himself so that he can make other people do his bidding. It's working pretty good. I do love the artwork. Georg Corona or George. It could be either one. I'm not sure.
Probably Jorge. It's probably...
And there's my son giving me the thing. So it's good. It's from the same guy who did the artwork for the Me You Love in the Dark. So, but we get all 3 Batgirls. We never really get Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. She just dresses up nice and goes to parties and things like that. So they're trying to just wire up the entire city so they can keep an eye on everything. And it's a good book. There's this bad guy I don't know who looks like a little nerd, I guess. Seer. The reason they left Gotham in the first place. And they want to go back to Gotham. There's a lot that happened in a thing we didn't read. So I just like it's because it's the Batgirls and they're having adventures and the artwork's cool. Then if you needed a literal acre of cleavage, this cleavage goes all the way to both sides of the magazine. This is the Vampirilla Valentine's Day Special 2022. Specials are always fun. We have a few stories in here. We've got A Dame with Fangs, script by David Abalone, art by Vincenzo Carato. Outlaws, script by Jacob Edgar, art by Andreas Labrada. A Match Made in Hell, script, art, color, everything by George Kambadias. And Oh Glorious St. Valentine, script by Derbala Kelly, art by George Kambadias and Emelina Pina. Alright, so the first one's fun. It's one of those where she runs into a guy and they have a thing and he goes off and gets married and becomes a cop. No, he's a private detective. And then she comes back and visiting him when he's an old man and they have a drink. It's sweet. Then there's a party. She's crashing a party with giant monsters. There's a fire monster and a water monster, and apparently they're a couple. The one that's the Western, I didn't like the Western too much. That wasn't so great. And then there's something with a monster in it. It's just Vampirilla having adventures, basically. And they put them all in a Valentine theme. These are way better than the monthly comic book. Our boy, Dirk Manning! Issue 3, Haunted Highlands! So, I gave away who wrote it then. Dirk Manning. Although the story was created by Twisted and Dirk Manning. He wrote it, and then pencils and inks are by Mariana Picosta. Colors and letters by Alessandro De Fornassari, edited by Drana Joe. We'll see how many of those I get wrong. They're in New Orleans. There is a voodoo king and a voodoo priestess, and they're trying to take over New Orleans, and they have to go visit some vampires and get a favor. That's the basic rundown. It was fun. It reminded me a little bit of that Anne Rice Interview with the Vampire. Because there's a little girl vampire, and the one guy is literally hilarious because he's just that dense. It's so much fun to watch. Him being quite that dense. We only get one more story, one more episode. I don't like that. I'd rather this just kind of went on for a while, but I'll take my 4-issue arcs. Let's see. New Mutants 24, almost at issue 25. We have... Oh, that's right. They put their credits in the weirdest places. Hold on, folks. Did I get it? Nope. Up in the front. All right, here we go. So, Vita Ayala is still writing it, but we have a new artist this issue, Danilo Beirut. Danilo? D-A-N-I-L-O? Danilo? What do you think, Danilo? Danilo? Okay, we'll go with Danilo. Danilo. The last artist spent a very long time aping Bill Sienkiewicz's artwork. This literally looks like somebody that is doing fan art for ElfQuest. That's by Wendy Pini. So it's just them on the island having their issues. There's the one little weird girl that they found in Russia. They're trying to show her that she doesn't have to look like that, although I think she looks just fine. You know, as long as you're good with the big eye and melty arm and stuff like that. Thunderbird isn't dead again. He dies more than Hawkeye in the Avengers. And so we're building up to a giant fight with another artist. So we're going to have another artist show up, and it's going to be Magic and Pride. I don't remember her name. She's the one that was fake Jean Grey, and then she was the Goblin Queen, and Moon Knight #8. Sure wish Moon Knight was in it. It's the other guy, Hunter's Moon, where Moon Knight's costume is all white, his is all black. Writer's Jed McKay. Art is Alessandro Capuccio. And somebody calls on Hunter's Moon to help them solve a monster called Stained Glass Scarlet, which that is kind of cool. There's your Moon Knight picture for this issue. And I don't know why they didn't ever do this before, but so he has to fight this thing that's more of a memory of a thing as opposed to a thing. So she's sort of like a little bitty demigod. So he just calls Dad. He says, "Hey, Nashu, I'm gonna need some help." So I never saw Mark do that. Mark would have just beat the monster up. Moon Knight would have just beat the monster up. Apparently he'll be back next issue. There's supposed to be a Devil's Reign tie-in. I didn't get much of that at all. No one accosted Hunter's Moon while he was doing his business. Moon Knight's not in it. There's supposed to be a Moon Knight one-shot apparently, but I think that's been pushed back. The Devil's Reign thing is sort of falling apart at the seams. Jungle Comics #5. Look at that. Look at that gorgeous 80s fan art right there. Isn't that great? It actually is pretty funny. So we have stories. Rula, Green Hell Part 5. That's Rula right there. Story by Chuck Dixon. Art by Alessio Nocerno. We have David and Goliath Bird Eater, the female of the species. Story and letters Scott O. Brown. Art is Robespierre Fiatza. Fever Stage 1, story by John Crowther. Excuse me, and art by Del Barris. And then Hidden Island Part 2 is story by Paul Beal and art by Jenny Godin. Rule is fun because you got this guy. She's the brains of the operation. This is just the muscle. He is not smart. And they think they're in a hidden valley, but she finds a stainless steel wall. The dinosaurs in it are cool, except for they're wicked Photoshop dinosaurs. So that's not all that great. The other story where they're shrunk down and the little boy's mom is a Brazilian tarantula. And he doesn't want to leave her alone because if he grows up back to normal size, because right now he's this big. If he grows up to normal size, won't be so great. Fever is one of those great white hunter. I'll do what I want. We're going to go out into the jungle and shoots a monkey. So we'll find out what happens to him next issue because after he shot the monkey, that was sort of the end of that one. And then finally, Hidden Island, they find they've been crashed on the island since last issue. And there was a giant alligator dinosaur thing in the water. But it's just Jungle Comics. They're fun. Speaking of Devil's Reign, there wasn't. Devil's Reign 4 of 6. We only got 2 more to go. My math is correct. We have Chip Zdarsky's writing it. Artist is Marco Cicchetto. He's over here going, I don't know. And now the whole city's under lockdown. The drones are out, and you can't do anything you don't want. And Doc Ock shows up to threaten Kingpin, and it's 2 Doc Ocks. It's Wolverine Doc Ock from another dimension and our Doc Ock. Apparently Hulk Doc Ock and who's the other one? Iron Man Doc Ock? Hmm? I don't remember. There's 4 Doc Ocks from 4 different dimensions. So they're trying to get Luke Cage to be the mayor. The Fantastic Four have decided that they are sick of being in prison, so they have left and took Moon Knight with them. They had to keep telling him not to kill people. He actually put a bed sheet over his head and made a little red moon so he could be Moon Knight in prison. I thought that was funny. And then finally, the last person you think who would help the good guys. But there he is. There's the Rhino. Because Kingpin wants to kill the Purple Man's children. And Rhino don't kill children. So he decided to help them out. But yeah, so at the end, Kingpin finally figures out what has been taken from his brain. So I imagine the next 2 issues he's going to be really murdery. So it's not bad. A lot of the tie-ins aren't coming through though. So I'm kind of disappointed. We're missing out on a Luke Cage tie-in altogether. We get a Superior 4 tie-in, a Spider-Man. The Spider-Woman tie-ins are good. So we'll finish up with Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries. We only have one more after this. 12. I hope they decide to just go ahead and continue it. Because this is the most fun book. They even charge $1 less so kids will pick it up. $2.99. And we have The Fright at the Museum, written by Ivan Cohen, drawn by Randy Elliott. Those are the easiest names I've had to say all episode. And one of my favorite DC heroes, the Creeper, along for the ride. And they're at a detective museum and someone has stolen a mask. So it's up to them to figure out who stole the mask. The Creeper is kind of a goof in this. He falls in the banana pudding. So that's how they were able to find out that Jack Ryder and the Creeper are the same guy, because they both smell like bananas, according to Scooby. And then they find the bad guy, who's not really a bad guy. And, you know, if it wasn't for those run-in with those meddling kids and that dog. So yes, this is a lot of fun. Creeper's in it. You get the classic Batman using his old alias. What was the old alias's name? What is his name? Hold on. Oh, Mr. Malone. He always wears a suit, the sunglasses. I think it's Chips Malone or something like that. I don't remember. So you get the Batman. I'm in disguise, but I still have my bat cowl on under my mask. So there you go. Sophie and Fiona, I'm back. If you're watching this, it was good to have you come over. We had chicken and dumplings, and ice cream, and stuff. And we'll see you in a couple weeks. Meantime, go read a comic book. I'll see you next week.